Rios is retiring from her OF after making $67 million in only 3 years.
My mental health since I've started this has just slowly been on such a decline.
You are not going to make $4 million a month doing OF. Don't even think about it.
So previously we talked about influencers quitting and going back to a normal 9 to 5 because it wasn't really what it cracked up to be. We saw all of the rich influencer lifestyles on Instagram and TikTok, and it just seemed so easy to print money, especially after the boom in creators during COVID. But now 5 years later, money's tightened up, advertising dollars have gone elsewhere, and some people can't pay the bills anymore. Now today we're going to be looking at a related topic in the form of OF models. Very similar story to influencers, but with much worse consequences compared to, just shutting down the rich influencer lifestyle vlog channel and the Instagram post and just getting a regular job. We're going to be taking a look at some clips with people's experiences, the effects it has, and how much money you'll actually make if you decide to do it. We're going to start off this video with a clip that everybody has probably seen in some capacity. Is the reason why so many people decide to make an OF in the first place?
Rios is retiring from her OF after making $67 million in only 3 years. Brenna tweeted her announcement saying, "No more link in bio." And remember when David Dobrik posted her monthly earnings and it was literally $1 million a month minimum, basically? She also made $1 million in the first day of launching her OnlyFans. And in a Twitch stream earlier this year, she revealed she made $67 million since starting her OF.
Oh my God.
That's public.
$67 million, Colonel?
Yeah, I'd retire too.
So these stories talking about the 0.1% of people that use the site always get pushed out into the media, and there's articles and there's videos, and it makes it seem like this is just going to be common. As we'll see a little bit later, it is far from that, but it seems like all morals get thrown out the window because, there's a possibility of making $1 million a month. So I think almost all of us have somebody in our lives that we know that tried to become an OF model, and a vast majority of them end up making virtually no money. I have my own experiences we'll talk about a little bit later, but we could take a look at somebody who actually did it for a year, and magically it wasn't as fun and happy and easy as all of these articles and videos make it seem to be.
My mental health since I've started this has just slowly been on such a decline. I feel a little bit dead inside. I feel completely desensitized. Not to sound funny, but I really don't feel any type of desire or attraction to men in general anymore. Just know that if you are a person who's ever been interested in doing this, there really are so many downsides. At this point, and I'm willing to admit this now, there's no amount of money that you can give me right now to make me feel giving myself away in certain aspects, even if they're just a few photos or whatever online. It almost isn't worth it anymore. And while I did have such a strong start and it was so much fun in the beginning, after getting burnt out, I started to just feel really differently about the types of messages that I was getting. Seriously, if I had any type of ability to share the things that people have said, just how disgusting they are. And also when I get curious and nosy sometimes, I'll go look at their profile and they have a whole girlfriend or a whole wife. And sometimes even disgustingly enough, they have kids. It makes me feel so conflicted with doing this. When I really sit down to think about what the purpose of all this is, it's really just to visually please a bunch of men. I've been sort of exploring the idea of maybe just having my content be focused on, things that I'm actually interested in, which ultimately is not pleasing men in any way, shape, or form. Y'all can keep your money at this point.
So there's a lot of it to go over there. I guess they could keep their money now because she realized she wasn't going to be Corinna Kampf and make $1 million a month. It was probably significantly less than that. And you're conflicted as if all of these people who are going to be paying you to message you and for you to take your clothes off on camera weren't the nicest, polite type of upstanding citizen. What did you think was going to happen? I'm constantly thinking of that gif of that guy going imagine my shock. To me, it kind of seems like she already knew what was going to happen. There was going to be degenerates paying for her attention and videos. And after a while, it does really take a mental toll on you. Now she regrets it. And honestly, I don't know who needs to hear this. This video should have been made years ago, but you are not going to make that kind of money on that site. I promise you.
You are not going to make $4 million a month doing OF. Don't even think about it. I need you to understand that this Sophie Rain chick is an anomaly. It's not to say that there aren't high earners on the platform, but I promise you, you're not gonna be one of them. The industry is oversaturated. If you aren't already in it, I genuinely would not recommend joining. You're not gonna make $4 million in a month. You know what's gonna happen? everyone that you don't want to sub, they're gonna be the first ones to sub. Your old high school teachers, your family, your old coworkers, your friends, your exes. Like, I swear to God, they're gonna be the first ones to do it. I know what you're thinking. Well, for $4 million a month, like, I could look past that. You are not gonna be making that. The average creator on the platform earns like less than $500 a month. I think the actual statistic is like less than $200 a month. Don't quote me on that, but just trust me, unless you already have some sort of large platform built up, it is not worth it. It is also really important to me that you understand that the flexing is just a marketing tactic. Again, not to say that there aren't high earners. Some of these people are making bank, but lying about how much bank they're making is like what makes them more bank. The mansions, the fancy cars, going on podcasts and saying you make $4 million a month, like those are all just things that people are doing so that you go, how is she making so much money? Let me go sub and find out.
It's almost as if they're using the same tactics as the lifestyle influencers with all the Range Rovers and Mercedes and Louis Vuitton bags, just with very different videos. I actually don't want to say that's 100% true because many of those lifestyle influencers turn into OF models to make even more money. But like she said in the video, you are not going to be like that. And that's kind of the only reasoning to do it, is to make money. I don't think too many people have a passion for this type of content, so it is strictly to try to bring in $1 million a month or something absurd like that. But as she said in the clip and what I looked up online, the average OF model makes between $150 and $180 per month, or around $2,000 a year. I do like that the second sentence is trying to give hope to somebody, even though you're not going to be like them. However, earnings could vary widely, with some creators making millions of dollars annually. You're just not going to be that person. I don't know about you, for $150 to let's just say $200 a month, I'd probably end up picking up a couple shifts at the Amazon warehouse or McDonald's instead of showing my poll online. Doesn't really seem to be worth it to me. And we're starting to see more and more videos online of people quitting, saying that it's not really as good as I thought. Again, imagine my shock. And along with you making less money than a minimum wage worker, clearly now all of your pictures and videos are online forever. Your friends have seen them, your family's seen them. Even if you shut it down, somebody has it saved on some hard drive somewhere and will be reposted on a different website forever. And there is nothing you could do about it. And the one excuse of, I could look past that if I'm making millions of dollars is not feasible when virtually nobody actually makes that much. I even have my own experience during COVID. One of kind of a friend of a friend's sister ended up making one of them, publicly advertising it on Facebook. So you guarantee all the grandmas and the old people saw all of that. I'm just going to say it in the nicest way possible. She was not the most attractive person. So you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball in that market right away, but still told everybody about it in the town, because at least where I used to live in New Jersey, a pretty small town where many generations end up staying. So the kids and the grandkids are all in the same school system. Everybody kind of knows each other because of that. So the entire town ended up knowing. At one point, you could have gotten a hoodie with a print of her in barely any clothing. And I always thought about the girl's brother. Imagine if I was walking around in one of those hoodies with just his sister on it. As you could probably guess, she was not making bank off of it and has since closed it, and somebody somewhere still has a hard drive of whatever she put on her OF, while simultaneously making no money and embarrassing herself.
So you're thinking about making an OnlyFans. I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't, coming from someone who happily does. You're not going to make nearly as much money as like other influencers are going to tell you that you're going to, because like that's oversaturated market at this point. Maybe in 2016 this is a get rich quick kind of thing, not anymore. And once you do, you have to realize like this is on the internet until after, like, you will be dead and this will still be very much alive on the internet. And there's nothing you can do about that. And you have to realize that and be 1,000% okay with that. And if you aren't, you shouldn't. You shouldn't make an OnlyFans if you are not consistent and willing to see things through, even when you see no results for a long time, because you have to build up fans, you have to build up followers, you have to build up traction, you have to be consistent, you have to talk to people, you have to do this every day, and it's going to be so irritating because you're not going to see any results for a while, but you have to continue. Or just don't make one, because if you don't think you can do that, then you shouldn't. And then my favorite part of the job, worrying about your safety like constantly, is super awesome. I've invested, time and money into making sure that I am protected and safe. But regardless of the realities of how like serious people are, you're going to get death threats, you're going to get threats, you're going to get so many, and like people can find it about you online pretty easily. And I put in a ton of like different things in place to protect myself. And even then, I know one day someone's going to probably like give me a real good scare if I haven't already. So that's always fun.
Weird, another person talking about, surprisingly, the people who are paying for your OF aren't the nicest people on the planet. And then on top of it, this being some sort of get-rich-quick scheme, people want to be in and out, make a couple $1 million, and then retire to the Bahamas for the rest of their lives, or whatever. That's just not going to happen now. And the comments aren't that much better. I regret doing mine, to be honest. And if you're scared that people you know will find out, do not make one. People will find out regardless of how much you hide it. All of this, again, for only $200 a month doesn't really seem that worth it to me. And these types of videos are only going to increase in time and is way worse than any of the influencer or TikTok type of creators we've seen recently, quitting, going back to a normal job because they weren't making enough money, or the possibility of losing their job because of the TikTok ban. At least that kind of stuff is normal content. Maybe it's a little cringy, showing a life they don't really live, but at least you're not completely naked up on the internet for the rest of your life. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. That's all I got for you guys today. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.